Chapter 1. Point 1. Dreams beneath black ice. The storm strips memory first. Names, faces, warmth. Then it teaches what remains. Vaelor did not leave the ruins before nightfall. The blizzard had intensified beyond survival. Wind screamed endlessly across the glacier fields, driving snow so violently through the air it resembled white ash. The black stone structure groaned beneath the pressure of the storm around it, but unlike the shattered transport wreckage, it endured. Ancient, buried, waiting. Vaelor sat beneath fractured carvings with his back against the cold stone wall. A weak heat cell scavenged from the wreck flickered beside him, barely alive. Its orange glow cast trembling shadows across symbols he still could not understand. Yet somehow, they no longer felt unfamiliar. His eyes drifted constantly toward the carvings without realizing it. Hooks, chains, storm spirals. Figures standing against impossible waves. He should have feared the place. Instead, for the first time since the crash, he felt sheltered. That frightened him more. Outside, the storm deepened into something almost alive. The winds no longer sounded random to him now. Certain gusts repeated in strange patterns. Pressure shifted rhythmically through the stone beneath his feet. The world was speaking, or he was finally breaking. Vaelor closed his eyes. Sleep came violently. Rain. Warm rain. Not snow. Not ice. Rain striking metal rooftops beneath a dark evening sky. Vaelor stood barefoot beneath hanging lanterns somewhere far away from Hoth. The memory felt fragile, distorted at the edges like cracked glass. Voices echoed nearby, laughing, alive. He smelled food, smoke, ocean salt. His mother knelt before him beneath the rain, brushing wet hair from his eyes with shaking hands. Fear lived inside her expression. Not fear of him. Fear for him. You must never let them see. The memory shifted violently. A metal cup slid across a table without being touched. His father froze instantly. Silence filled the room. Vaelor looked down at his own trembling hands. The cup continued moving slowly toward him. His mother whispered something too distorted to hear. Then, a door slammed open. White robes. Voices. Not clear enough to understand. His father shoved him backward into darkness. Hide. The dream fractured. Cold water. Chains. Transport alarms. Screaming prisoners. Then, the storm. Always the storm. Vaelor awoke, gasping violently. Darkness surrounded him. The heat cell had died completely. For several moments he did not move. His pulse thundered painfully inside his chest as fragments of memory drifted through his mind like broken ice. His mother's face. Rain. The moving cup. The fear. He barely remembered his own home anymore. Hoth was erasing him. Outside the ruins, the winds howled with monstrous force, but beneath them, another sound emerged. Drag. Vaelor's entire body stiffened instantly. Metal scraping stone. Slow. Measured. Somewhere beyond the ruined entrance. Drag. Closer this time. His breathing became shallow. The sound stopped. Silence followed. Then came the whisper. Not from outside. Inside his mind. Kavor. Pressure storm. The emotional weight of the word crashed through him immediately. Suffocation. Weight. Depth. Endurance. Vaelor pressed both hands against his head violently. No. This was not real. Weeks alone inside frozen wastelands. Starvation, sleep deprivation, isolation. Hallucinations were natural. The Republic medical officers used to warn transport crews about sensory collapse on long outer rim voyages. That was all this was. It had to be. The whisper returned. Vathkor. Drowning silence. The ruin suddenly groaned beneath him. Snow burst from cracks overhead. Vaelor looked up sharply. For one brief moment, The carvings along the walls appeared wet, not frozen, submerged, as though dark ocean water moved beneath the stone itself. He blinked. The illusion vanished instantly. Only black rock remained. His pulse raced harder now. The whispers were becoming clearer every night. And worse. Part of him was beginning to understand them. Outside, the storm shifted direction suddenly. The winds now blew toward the deeper glacier fields beyond the ruins. Pulling, guiding. Vaelor stared into the darkness beyond the entrance for a very long time. Then slowly, without fully realizing why, he rose to his feet. Chapter 1. Point 2. Echoes of the Past. The Force does not always answer with light. Sometimes it answers with memory, sometimes with blood. The storm weakened near dawn. Not enough to reveal the sky. Hoth never revealed the sky, but the winds softened from murderous to survivable, and that alone was enough. Vaelor stepped from the ruins slowly, pulling scavenged wrappings tighter across his arms. Frost cracked softly along the fabric as he moved. Snow reached nearly to his knees now in some places, burying entire sections of the glacier field beneath smooth white dunes. The wreckage waited in the distance like the corpse of some enormous beast half devoured by the storm. He had avoided returning for days, perhaps because too many bodies remained there, perhaps because part of him feared finding nothing left at all. The wind shifted around him strangely as he walked. Not random, guiding. Always guiding now. Vaelor hated that he had begun noticing it. The black ruins disappeared slowly behind him into the white haze. Yet even far away, he still felt them. Pressure lingering inside his skull like a second heartbeat. Kevor. The word surfaced again without invitation. Pressure storm. The emotional meaning arrived immediately beneath the sound. Weight endurance survival through suffocation. Vaelor clenched his jaw and kept walking. The transport wreck emerged gradually from the storm, or what remained of it. Entire sections had collapsed inward beneath accumulated ice. The forward hull was gone completely, buried beneath frozen debris and glacier shift. Black scorch marks stained the snow around the impact trench like old wounds. Bodies still remained, some partially exposed through the snow, frozen exactly where they died. Vaelor forced himself not to look at their faces. The cold preserved expression too well. He crawled through a fractured maintenance opening near the lower engine section, dragging himself into darkness filled with hanging wires and frozen smoke residue. Metal groaned softly around him. The air smelled dead. His fingers shook violently as he searched through overturned storage compartments and shattered emergency kits. Nothing. Empty. Stripped already by time and cold. Then, a sealed ration cylinder beneath collapsed plating. Vaelor tore it free desperately. His stomach twisted painfully at the sight of food. He nearly opened it immediately, but stopped. The shape of the container triggered something. A memory. Warm light. Steam rising from a cooking pot. Rain against metal roofing. His mother laughing softly while placing food onto the table. The memory struck so suddenly it physically hurt. Vaelor leaned heavily against the frozen wall as fragments surfaced around him. He remembered the planet now. Not the name, not fully, but pieces. Endless rainstorms, dense forest, cold oceans, woodcutters, fishing villages built against cliffsides, his father's rough hands splitting timber outside during storms, and always fear. Not poverty, not hunger. Fear. Hide it. The memory sharpened violently. A crowded market street, Vaelor younger, angry, a man grabbing him hard enough to leave bruises. Questions, accusations. The man had seen something. A crate moving without touch. Wind spiraling unnaturally around Vaelor during an argument. Fear spread quickly in Outer Rim settlements, especially fear of the Jedi, especially fear of loosed children. The man threatened to report him. Vaelor remembered his mother crying afterward, his father silent. That terrible silence adults carried when catastrophe approached. Then came the axe. Woodcutters always carried them. The memory fragmented violently around the moment itself. Snow, rain, shouting, the man advancing toward him. Vaelor backing away, terrified. Then rage, pure, blinding. The environment answered, not consciously, never consciously. The wind screamed. Loose timber shifted violently, and the axe ripped free from the chopping block on its own. Vaelor remembered the sound more than the sight. Wet impact, silence afterward. The man collapsed into the mud with the axe buried deep in his chest. Vaelor stared at him, frozen in horror. But beneath the horror, relief. His secret remained hidden. The Jedi would not come. He could stay with his family longer. The realization sickened him even now. Inside the frozen wreckage, Vaelor slowly slid down against the wall until he sat motionless on the icy floor. His breathing trembled. He had never told anyone, not even his parents, especially not his parents, because part of him had wanted it to happen. The metal around him groaned suddenly. Vaelor looked up sharply. Wind moved through the broken corridors above, but not naturally. The pressure had changed again. The wreck felt smaller suddenly, heavier, watching. Then came the whisper. Soft. Close. Karos. If you have made it this far into the video, tell us what you think in the comment section below, and please consider giving us a like and subscribe, and please enjoy. Chapter 1.3 Ashes Beneath Snow. The cold preserves truth poorly. Memory freezes in fragments. Only guilt survives whole. By what Vaelor believed was the 17th day, the voices had become normal. That frightened him more than the storm ever had. He no longer reacted when whispers moved through the wind outside the ruins. Sometimes they emerged from the glaciers, sometimes from beneath the ice itself, sometimes from the black stone walls while he slept. Always distant, always watching. He had begun speaking back occasionally, only a few words, mostly curses, mostly demands for silence. The realization that he had started answering the wind like a living thing sat heavily inside him. But starvation changes the mind. Isolation changes it faster. Vaelor sat within the lower cargo corridor of the wreck, hunched beneath dangling wires and frozen pipes, while weak emergency lighting flickered overhead in dying pulses. Snow drifted slowly through fractures in the hull around him. His hands shook constantly now. Too little food, too little sleep, too much cold. He forced open another storage compartment with scavenged metal and nearly collapsed from relief at what waited inside. A compressed nutrient bar, half crushed, frozen solid. Vaelor laughed weakly under his breath. The sound startled him. He barely sounded human anymore. He devoured the rations slowly, despite every instinct demanding otherwise. Pain twisted through his empty stomach almost immediately as warmth returned to his body in sharp waves. For several minutes, he simply sat there, breathing, alive, still alive. The transport groaned around him softly while the storm screamed outside. Then the memories returned again. Not dreams this time. Clearer, sharper. His homeworld. Vaelor. Cold rain. Dark oceans. Dense evergreen forests climbing along steep black cliffs. The planet had always smelled of wet timber and salt water. He remembered helping his father split wood behind their small coastal home while storms rolled across the sea below. He remembered his mother singing softly while repairing fishing nets beside lantern light. Simple life. Hard life. Good life. Until the axe. Vaelor closed his eyes tightly. He could still hear the impact, still remembered the silence afterward. The man collapsing backward into the mud with widened eyes and blood steaming in cold rainwater. He had not touched the weapon. Not physically. That was the worst part. The environment had answered him. Like rage itself moved through the world around him. The local militia came 3 nights later. Not Republic authorities. Local men. Neighbors. Workers. Hunters. People he had known his entire life. They came carrying rifles and firebombs. Vaelor remembered hiding in the forest above the village cliffs while rain hammered the trees around him. Through the darkness, he watched lanterns gathering below around his family home. He remembered hearing shouting. Demands. Bring out the boy. Murderer. Witch. Monster. His father stepped outside first. Vaelor remembered that clearly. Old woodcutter's axe in his hands. Rain soaking through his clothes. Terrified, but standing anyway. His mother came after him carrying nothing at all. Still trying to speak calmly. Still trying to reason with people already consumed by fear. Vaelor never learned who threw the first firebomb. Maybe no one did. But suddenly flames climbed the walls of the house faster than rain could suppress them. Screaming followed. Gunfire. Chaos. The memory fractured violently there. Vaelor remembered running, branches tearing against his skin, mud beneath his boots, the world screaming around him. By the time he reached the house, it was already burning. The militia had fled. Only smoke remained. Smoke and fire and collapsing timber. Vaelor remembered falling to his knees beside the ruins. Remembered digging desperately through burning debris with bleeding hands. And above the smouldering wreckage, he confessed. To no one. To ashes. To ghosts. He remembered screaming apologies into the fire while rain poured endlessly from the sky. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to kill him. I was angry. I was scared. I just wanted them to leave us alone. The confession echoed now through the frozen wreckage of the Republic transport 17 days later. Vaelor sat motionless in darkness with tears freezing silently against his skin. Outside, Hoth howled endlessly. But beneath the storm, something listened. The pressure shifted again. Subtle. Ancient. And for one brief moment, Vaelor no longer felt alone inside the wreck.